I never thought I'd see my brother lose it like that. He's usually the calm one, the guy who can keep a poker face through anything. But that night, at our cousin's engagement party, he completely snapped, and in front of the whole family. It started simple enough. Music, drinks, laughter, the usual awkward small talk between relatives who don't really get along but pretend for the sake of appearances. Everyone was buzzing about the couple, toasting them, telling embarrassing childhood stories. It was supposed to be a happy night. And then my brother leaned over to me, his voice low but sharp. Do you know what he did? He was staring right at our cousin's fiancé, jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. I froze. What are you talking about? My brother's hand shook as he gripped his glass. He's not who everyone thinks he is. I've kept my mouth shut for months, but I can't anymore. Not tonight. I tried to calm him down, whispering that it wasn't the time or place, but he was past the point of reason. His face was red, his eyes wild, and he kept repeating the same phrase. They need to know. They need to know. Before I could stop him, he stood up, loudly enough that the music seemed to fade around us. He tapped his glass with a knife, just like people do before making a toast. Everyone turned to look, smiling, expecting some sweet or funny story. Instead, he said, "Before you all celebrate this engagement, you should know what kind of man he really is." The entire room went silent. Our cousin's smile froze, her fiancé's hand still around her waist. All eyes locked on my brother. "What the hell are you doing?" I hissed under my breath, but he didn't even glance at me. His voice was shaking but loud, each word sharper than the last. "He cheated with someone from work. And I have proof." Gasps echoed around the room. Our cousin's face went pale, her fiancé stepped back, and my brother reached into his pocket like he was about to pull out receipts. It felt unreal, like we just stepped into a movie scene. And in that moment, I realized there was no going back. The fiancé's face turned bright red, but not with shame, with fury. He grabbed my brother's arm before he could pull his phone out. "What the hell are you doing?" he snapped, his voice cracking under the pressure of all those eyes on him. My brother yanked his arm free. "Don't touch me. You think you can lie your way through this? Not tonight." He finally pulled his phone out, swiping furiously. I saw the glow of the screen, a thread of messages, photos, something damning enough that even I didn't want to look. Our cousin staggered back, hands covering her mouth. "No, no, that's not true," she whispered, her voice breaking. But the silence that followed told her everything. The room wasn't on her side. They were waiting, hungry for the proof. The fiancé finally found his words. "You don't understand, this isn't what it looks like." Classic line. The same one cheaters use in movies, in stories, in every cliché situation. My brother barked out a laugh so bitter it hurt to hear. "Oh, really? Because those texts sure look like you couldn't keep your hands, or anything else, to yourself." He shoved the phone toward our cousin. She stared at the screen for 3 seconds before crumpling like someone had pulled the air out of her. My aunt rushed to catch her, the bride-to-be sobbing in her arms. The room was chaos now. People shouting, some defending him, some glaring, others pulling out their own phones to start recording. My mom was tugging at my brother's sleeve, begging him to stop. But it was too late. The truth, or at least one version of it, was out there. The fiancé tried to regain control. He held up his hands, trying to quiet the room. "Listen to me, this is twisted. He's twisting everything. You don't know the full story." "Then tell it," my brother shot back. His voice was trembling, but he stood tall. "Tell everyone here why you've been sneaking around behind her back." For a second, it looked like he was going to fight. His fists clenched, his jaw tightened, his whole body tense like he was about to lunge. Then he laughed, a hollow, humorless sound that chilled me. "You really want the truth," he said. His eyes swept across the room, then landed back on my brother. "Fine, but don't think you'll like it." The laughter echoed in my head, unnatural, almost mocking. Everyone leaned in, waiting for him to speak. My cousin's sobs quieted for a moment, as if even she needed to hear what he'd say next. "The truth is," he took a long breath, eyes narrowing, "it wasn't just me." The room gasped again. My aunt gripped my cousin tighter. My brother's face twisted in confusion and rage. What the hell do you mean by that? The fiancé smirked, his voice calm but dripping with venom. Ask your brother about the late nights, about why he suddenly became so interested in my business. You think he's exposing me out of loyalty, or maybe he's covering his own tracks. The words hit like a bomb. All heads turned toward my brother. He looked stunned, shaking his head furiously. That's a lie. He's trying to flip this on me. Don't you dare. But the fiancé cut him off, shouting over him. Don't act like you're innocent. Do you really want me to tell them about her? About the hotel? About the texts you deleted? My heart pounded. My brother's face went pale, then red, then pale again. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. The silence that filled the room now was different, darker, heavier. People weren't just doubting the fiancé anymore. They were doubting my brother. And in that silence I felt the ground shift beneath all of us. Emma, our cousin, the bride-to-be, lifted her tear-streaked face. Her voice was hoarse but sharp. Is that true? My brother stumbled forward, desperate, hands raised. No, no, I swear to you that's not true. He's twisting everything, he's trying to save himself. But his eyes betrayed him. They darted, flickered with guilt, with fear, and everyone saw it. The fiancé stood taller, emboldened. You wanted the truth? Well, here it is. Your perfect little whistleblower isn't so perfect. He's been living a double life. And he knows damn well I'm not the only guilty one here. The engagement party wasn't just ruined. It had become a battlefield. And no one knew whose side to take. My brother's hands were shaking so badly he nearly dropped his phone. Don't listen to him, he pleaded, his voice cracking. He's lying because he knows he's caught. He's desperate. But the damage was done. The room wasn't looking at the fiancé anymore. They were all staring at him. My mom's face was white as a sheet, my uncle whispering to his wife, my cousin frozen in her chair like someone had poured concrete into her veins. The fiancé leaned in closer, his voice low but loud enough for everyone to hear. You think I'm desperate, you think I don't have receipts, try me. And that's when my brother snapped. He slammed his glass down on the table, shards scattering like tiny daggers. You son of a bitch, the shouting exploded. Some people tried to intervene. Others backed away like the whole scene was radioactive. My aunt screamed for someone to stop them, but my brother had already lunged. Chairs scraped against the floor. Someone knocked over a tray of food. And suddenly the room that had been filled with laughter an hour ago was filled with chaos. I grabbed my brother's arm, but he was stronger in his rage than I'd ever seen him. His face was twisted, eyes wild, teeth bared like an animal cornered. The fiancé shoved him back, his smirk replaced with pure venom. Go ahead, hit me. Show them who you really are. I swear the entire family was holding its breath. And then just as my brother's fist came up, Emma screamed. Not a little gasp. A blood-curdling scream that froze everyone in their tracks. Her voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Everyone turned to look at her, tears streaking down her cheeks, her whole body trembling. Stop it, both of you, she yelled. Do you even care about me? About what this is doing to me? Her voice broke, and the sight of her crumbling pulled the oxygen out of the room. My brother froze, his fist still hanging in the air. The fiancé stepped back, chest heaving, eyes still locked on him like a predator waiting for the next move. But Emma wasn't done. She turned to my brother, her voice cold now. Tell me the truth. Right here, right now, did you do what he said? The room fell dead silent again. And for the first time that night, my brother didn't answer right away. The silence stretched on too long. My brother's lips parted, but no words came out. His chest rose and fell in shallow bursts, and his eyes darted around the room like a trapped animal looking for an escape. Emma's face twisted in disbelief. Oh my God, you're not denying it. Her voice cracked, sharp with betrayal. Finally, he stammered, it wasn't like that. It's not what he's making it out to be. But the words sounded pathetic, even to my ears. The fiancé folded his arms, smug, watching him unravel. The crowd shifted, whispers breaking out like a wave. Doubt had already taken root, and there was no pulling it back. My mom suddenly spoke up, her voice trembling. Please stop this. Whatever it is, this isn't the place. But Emma wasn't listening. She stepped closer to my brother, her eyes burning. Do you know what you've done to me, to us? I was going to marry him, and you've turned my engagement into some kind of circus. Her fiancé reached for her hand, but she ripped it away. Don't touch me, she shouted, turning on him now. You're no better. Both of you are liars. The words echoed through the hall, and for the first time that night, I realized this wasn't about choosing sides anymore. Emma wasn't just heartbroken, she was furious, and she wanted blood. The room felt like it was vibrating with tension. People avoided eye contact, some quietly slipped out, others stayed rooted like they couldn't tear themselves away. My uncle muttered, "This family will never recover from this," and honestly, I believed him. My brother finally found his voice again, desperation seeping through every syllable. "Emma, please, I was trying to protect you. He's dangerous. You don't understand." She shook her head violently, tears flying. "Protect me. You've humiliated me. You've ruined everything." The fiancé smirked again, victorious in his silence. He didn't need to argue anymore. My brother was destroying himself. And as Emma broke down in sobs, collapsing into a chair, one thought lodged itself in my mind. This wasn't the climax. This was just the beginning of something much darker. My brother dropped into a chair like all the fight had drained out of him. His shoulders slumped, his hands buried in his hair. For a moment, he looked less like the villain in this story and more like a man who just realized the ground had caved beneath him. Emma glared at him through her tears. "You think you were protecting me. You were protecting yourself. You didn't care about me. You cared about being the one to expose him before he exposed you." The words cut deep. My brother flinched like she'd slapped him. Around us, relatives shifted uncomfortably, their faces a mixture of pity and disgust. This wasn't just family drama anymore. It was a public dismantling of everything we thought we knew. And then the fiancé delivered the killing blow. "See, I told you. He's not a hero. He's just as dirty as me." I wanted to defend my brother, to shout that he wasn't the monster the fiancé painted him to be. But a part of me wasn't sure anymore. His silence earlier, the way his eyes had darted, the cracks in his voice, it all gnawed at me. My mom was crying quietly into a napkin, my aunt trying to console Emma while glaring daggers at both men. The whole room had fractured into whispers and side conversations, little pockets of judgment. My brother finally raised his head, eyes bloodshot. "I made mistakes," he said hoarsely. "But I wasn't lying about him. He's dangerous. And if you stay with him, Emma, you'll regret it." The fiancé barked out a laugh. "Look who's talking. You've already ruined her life tonight. What more do you want?" Emma stood up suddenly, her chair screeching against the floor. "Enough!" she screamed, her voice slicing through the noise. "Both of you get out. I don't care about your secrets, your lies, your excuses. Just get out of my sight." Her words hit like a gavel slamming down. My brother stood slowly, shaking, like he wanted to argue but knew better. The fiancé smirked one last time before straightening his jacket and striding toward the door. The two men left in opposite directions, but the damage lingered in the room like smoke after a fire. Emma collapsed back into her chair, sobbing into her hands, while the rest of us stood in the wreckage of what was supposed to be a celebration. And deep down, I knew the worst part. The truth hadn't fully come out yet. The party was officially over, but no one knew what to do. People drifted out quietly, some shaking their heads, others already typing furiously on their phones. By morning, this wouldn't just be family drama. It would be gossip spreading through every corner of our community. I stayed behind, watching Emma sit at the table with her makeup smeared, her engagement ring lying abandoned in front of her like a broken promise. My mom knelt beside her, whispering comfort that sounded empty even to my ears. The house was filled with the kind of silence that comes after an explosion. Nothing was burning anymore, but everything was destroyed. Later that night, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "He's not done, you'll see soon." I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting. Was it from the fiancé, or from my brother, or someone else entirely? I didn't know, but the implication was clear. That engagement party hadn't been the ending of something. It was the opening shot of a war. And as much as I wanted to believe the worst was behind us, a part of me knew the real chaos was still to come.